Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to Medora Budgets. This is Monique. And I'd like to thank anybody who's liked or commented on any of my videos, and especially those that have chosen to subscribe to my channel. Truly started this as a way to hold myself accountable, but I understand, recognize, and appreciate the community as a whole. So if you are rocking with me on this journey, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you haven't made up your mind yet, sit with me for a spell. At the end of this video, if it's content you find valuable or enjoyable, please feel free to subscribe. It's myself in suites, married with a whole bunch of kids, trying to figure out our future, family, and finances, so the decisions we're making now won't negatively impact us in the future. Today is Thursday the 31st, and we are here to do a budget with me for the check that I will receive on tomorrow, November the 1st. So a couple of things really quickly. So if you have not seen my budget check-in, then let me just cover this really fast. I have gifted my budget sheets that I had from the Baddies and Budgets budget book that I put in here. Remember, Sweets had me on a diet, right? And not buying or purchasing anything. So I pulled those back out to use, and I used it for the month of October. I did have a friend who is starting her own debt-free journey, or financial kind of betterment, I guess, maybe, journey. And so I did gift her some wallets, binders that I had, envelopes that I had, stickers that I had, and some budget sheets just to get her started. So with that, I have now gone in and a bundle package that I'd already purchased from the printable plans. I went ahead and pulled that back out, and I'm using that now. So I went ahead and printed up copies to use for the remainder of this year, November and December. I have those copies in here as well. A lot of these sheets you had already seen before. The biweekly budget sheet you've seen before. The cash envelope planning sheet you've seen before. The expense tracking sheet you've seen before. And then there are a few new ones in here as well. So we'll talk about those as we go. So for the end of, where am I? For the end of my second paycheck that I received in October, and we're going to scooch on in here a little bit, I came up with right there, a total of $31.58. I was under budget. It's less than what I initially anticipated, which was $68. So what I'm going to do is carry over that $30 into the budget for the November 1st paycheck. Also, I did account for the home warranty insurance through AHS in this particular paycheck cycle. It still has not cleared as of this morning. So I'm going to carry over this as well. And although I have $49 here, roughly I carried over 50. So that 50 plus the 30 that I'm going to take over here means I'm starting out with a rollover of $80. So I did just want to mention that really quickly. Next, let me move these out of the way. Next, I did a video around my pre-planning that I do, and so I decided, well, since I done told you about it, let me just go ahead and keep showing it to you guys. So what I do is I go in, and 1 to 2 months out after I've gotten paid for my last paycheck cycle, so on the 18th I got paid, October 18th, so October 19th I went in and I do a pre-planning kind of or future planning to understand my next 4 paychecks. So November 1st, November 15th, November the 29th, and December the 13th. I go in and I've added all of those numbers together. Remember, all of my bills and my high priority sinking funds, that total has to be less than $1,400, because that's how much I allot every paycheck to go towards not only my bills but high priority sinking funds, because these are the things that tend to trip me up the most. And then I allot basically $350 for all of my variable expenses outside of, or my other savings challenges and sinking funds outside of variable expenses, which typically I allot about $500 every paycheck cycle. So I went in and added all of those numbers together, or did those. And this is like the 6th iteration of that. I've been moving things around and shifting some things around. One of the things that you will notice is that for Nelnet, you see only $45. Usually I pay them $82, but you've got that November 1st, you'll see Nelnet for $45. November 15th, you see Nelnet for $45. November 29th, nail net for 45, December 13th, nail net for 45. So in my debt update, when I went in to look at my numbers, I've realized that the daily accrued interest that's being attached to my student loans is usurping or almost taking up all of the minimum payment that I'm making. I'm on a graduated payment plan. It was only supposed to be for a year or so. And then it was supposed to go up to what the normal amount is supposed to be. We got hit with the pandemic. They just have never changed it. So I'm still there. But whatever that interest is that's accruing, it's eating up that $82 of minimum payment. So I think the total between the student loan AA and student loan AB is like 11,000 and some change. I think it was, I'm going to guess. So I'm going to say it was $11,802, just as an example. Well, I paid my $81.55, and then I looked at the new statement balance that came out on the 13th, on October the 13th, and it says $11,208 that's due instead of 11. So it was 11,206, for example. And then now it says 11,208. So literally, I made a minimum payment and it didn't do anything. So I'm trying something different. Number one, I want to give a little bit extra. You know, my city credit card is the one that I want to put the most of my money towards to try and get that balance down. But I do want to give a little bit more to student loan just to see how it's going to work. And I've decided to split up those payments and make those payments every paycheck instead of once a month to try and shave off maybe a few cents or $1 or so off of that interest so that I can start to see some traction on it. So that is one of the changes that I made as I was going through future planning and figuring things out for that. I think that was it. Oh, and then for subscriptions. So one of the other things I've done, I moved my trash, I moved my home warranty, and I moved my ring to the subscriptions sinking fund category. So all three of those, I've gone in and changed those so that it's now coming out on my Alley credit card automatically. AHS, the home warranty and ring every month, trash every quarter, which the first quarter would have been November, but I think they said you had to make the payment first and then they could do in the future to do the auto payment for it. At any rate, all three of those have moved to the Alley credit card. Once that charge hits there, I will go to my subscription sinking fund and pull the money from there. I have upped my subscription amount. So instead of only giving $80 to that every paycheck period, I'm now giving $120. I may need to give a little bit more, but when I worked the numbers, it felt like $120 was going to be good, especially because I get paid 3 times in November. You know, every 6 months, pretty much, I get paid 3 times. And so that'll kind of help to balance things out a little bit. So I think those are the only 2 things that I came up with, and I found that out just by doing this future planning. The other thing that I will show you is that one of the sheets that I printed out in that bundle that I have is around annual finance. And so what I'm supposed to do here is document my financial goals and the action steps. I haven't gotten that far just yet. This is my first time using this form. It was in that bundle. I just never printed it out, but I thought now is a good time to start. I'm going to try it out for November, December. If I have some success at looking at these numbers, then I'll roll this into 2025. But basically, I am anticipating $6,900 as my income goal for November. I want to spend $4,022 on expenses. That includes not just my bill money, but also high priority sinking funds. So basically I took this number that I got from the bills and this number on what I want to put for my sinking funds, added that together for November 1st, the 15th, and the 29th. And I came up with $4,022. And then, as I mentioned before, I want for savings, those are the sinking funds that we talked about, the low priority or the extra debt, Monday Minis 100 envelope. That all totals up to, at the most, $350. So I multiplied that times 3 and came up with $1,050. So this is going to be an overall or an overarching view on those particular amounts, and we'll see how that comes out. All right, I am already 9 minutes in, so this will not take long because I am on This thing, yeah. Okay, so this is long. So November, I have everything documented here. If it's in black, then it's a bill that's associated with my bills account. If it is in purple, then it is a subscription. This is my way of tracking which subscriptions I have. So I have that in a different marker color or ink color, because if anything happens and I need to start to remove some things, these are probably the first things to go, the things that are in purple. So I did go in and do that. All of the things that I talked about earlier are all the money moves that I've made down here, and I can check all of these off because basically those are all done. I am going to do a no spend challenge for November. The only exceptions will be anything from bills, any medical expenses, or anything that comes from sinking funds. So basically my variable expenses, I am going to track that and see how many no spend days I can get. I tried to get 10 no spend days in the month of October. I didn't start until October the 14th. I actually got 7, so I'm not upset about that. But I do want to try and get, I don't know if it's 10 or 15. I'm going to mark down 15. I'm going to say I'm going to try and get 15 no spend days for the month of November. And I want to use this money, hopefully whatever I'm able to save here, I want to use it towards my city credit card. All right. So here's the way my bi-weekly budget lays out. I hope you guys can see that. Smooth this over a little bit, so maybe it's a little bit too bright. All right, so for rollover, as I mentioned before, I should have about $80. Get a pen. My bills account, I should have $1,400 deposited in there on November the 1st, $850 into my variable account. Micah's going to give me $50. And I think that's the only other that I'm expecting here. So my total here, as far as planned, is $2,380. I've got my electric. I did go ahead and put AHS here. Remember, it hasn't cleared yet, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and add it here. I've got the ring, and actually the ring did come out, so I can take that off. Y'all, I got to get better paper because this paper bleeds a little bit every time I use this eraser. All right, so I'm going to take ring off. So that's going to make this change to $757. Okay. Ring is off. Nelnet, I'm going to start the split bill with them. $250 towards mortgage and $255 towards auto. And so all of that totals up to $757. Next, you see for my, I crossed out, I think that used to say debt, but I am changing that to show my sinking funds. And I'm going to say HP, my high priority sinking funds, is what this should say. And these are all of them listed out. So 20 for bonus kids, 60 for Xerxes, 120, as I mentioned before, for subscriptions, 80 for property insurance, 75 for buffer. And if you were not aware, I have combined all of the other accounts, car maintenance, deductibles, escrow, house miscellaneous, home decor, you name it, it's all combined together, and it's all just one big lump sum called buffer. And so I'll be contributing to that for sure every paycheck period. And then emergency, I want to give 50. I did have to use some of that money to pay for the guy who came out to detect the water leak that I had. And I want to get that back up to $1,000. When you total all of that together, it's $405. You'll notice that there's a green dot here and a green dot here, and that aligns with the green dot here and the green dot here. So my rollover is in my bills account. So my bills account will have the $1,400, and it also has $80 as well for rollover. So that's $1,480. I have to make sure that this bill section in this high priority sinking fund section don't go over that $1,480. This budget is just for November the 1st through the 7th. I still have another week to go before I get paid. So I don't want to use up all of my money too fast because I still have a bill or two that needs to clear the week of November the 8th. So that's $1,480 minus $757 minus $405 equals $318 still left. That's good. I'm not going to pull any of that money. I'm going to leave it there because I do still have a couple of bills, like I mentioned before, that need to come out the week of November the 8th. Okay. All right. So we're good on that. Next, over here for expenses, I'm going to give myself for groceries $100. gas 40, home 30, dining 30, meds 20, and Corinne 20. When you add all of that together, it's $240 for the week. And then I'll give myself my new batch of $240 for next week once we get ready to do that budget. So this budget, although it says bi-weekly, it's not bi-weekly. It's just for the week. And I don't want to confuse anybody. So let's go ahead and just do that right there. And then that's a weekly budget. Okay. So that's $240. Next, for savings, that's my low priority. I want to give $99. Well, where did you come up with that number, Monique? Well, that's because I wanted to top off all of these categories. So for Little Bean, let's put this over here. Little Bean has 83, and I think I said I want to give 17 for that to get it up to 100. Corinne is at 25. What did I say I want to do for Corinne? Corinne, I want to give her 25 plus 25. That'll get her up to $50. Fun Things, my family fun, is at 36. So I want to get that up to 50. So I'm going to give 14 for that. Gifts is at 318. And I think I said, what did I say on that one? Gifts, I want to give that 12. I'm going to give that one $12, so that'll get up to $330, so plus 12. YouTube, I'm going to give 5 plus 5. And then SC Land, so my South Carolina land, to have this one fully funded, that's going to be $300. So I'm going to go ahead and give 27. And that should actually be 100. I think I said 26 here. It should be 27. So that's actually going to be $100 towards high priority sinking funds. Just finishing these up. That should be 100. And I knew that when I looked at that for South SC Land. That should have been 100. So SC Land over here should have been 27. And that's going to mean 2 ones and not just 1 1. I need to change that while I'm thinking about it. All right, there you go. So $100 for low priority, all of my low priority binders combined. I'm going to give $50 towards the city card debt. I'm not going to put anything in emergency prep because I'm going to run one of my Monday mini savings challenges to fund that for this particular paycheck cycle. $60 for Monday mini for this particular week. And then for my 100 envelope. So for 100 envelope, you know, I'm doing this a little bit differently. I'm using these cards that I got from Beezy's Things, and these, she divided them up in sections, right? So as you finish a section over here, there you go, you'll mark off. And I actually have hearts, so I'm going to be able to mark that off. But each section lets you know how much you need to actually put towards it. So that's how we're doing that. There's an insert that's in each of these envelopes for each of the sections, and that's how I'm going to keep track. And so for this, I've already done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need to do 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And that's going to equal $40. So what you'll notice here on my 100 envelope, my section 1, I want to put $40 towards that. And then for section 2, I wanted to come up to some type of even number, and I wanted to try and do the highest ones first. So I've already done 20. I want to do 19, 18, plus 17, plus 16. There you go. $70. And so that's 16 through 19. And that's what you'll see here. 19, 18, 17, 16 for section 2. Here's the $70, and this is how it breaks down. So that's how I came up with the $110 that I want to give for my cash envelopes for the 100 envelope challenge. So when I add those up together, that's 100 plus 50, 60, and 110. That equals $320. Now, I should have $350 that's available there. So that gives me another $30. And I'm going to take that $30. Let me make sure. This should be $350. So, right? So 100 plus 50 plus 60 plus 110 equals 320. And I want that to be at the most 350. So I feel like I have another $30 in here to play. So I'm going to make extra debt $80. Because I only give to these when I get paid. So I won't have to worry about giving to these again next week. I think I can do $80. So I'm going to do here that's a total of $350. Now, when you look at my variable amounts, you've got $850 that I have set aside for variable and $50 from Micah. So a total of $900. So that's 900 minus 240, because these are the two purple marks. So that should align with the numbers here. So minus 240 minus 350. And that should leave me $310. And that's good because I still have another week of variable expenses. So that's going to be another $240. And then I'm going to do another Monday mini, which is $60. So that should leave $10. Okay, so we're good. We're under budget for that. So it looks like I will be able to give $80 towards debt. That's what we should be looking for as far as my Transfer Tuesday is concerned. So total income, $23.80. Minus bills, $757, minus savings, $350, minus expenses, $240. And this used to be debt, but it's going to be high priority sinking fund, so minus $405. So let's see what those numbers end up at. $23.80 minus $757 minus $350 minus $240 minus $405 equals, that leaves me $628. Now that is my under budget amount going into the week of November the 8th. Remember, I do still have some bills that need to come out. I still have to worry about expenses that need to come out, and I still have to worry about my Monday mini and having money for that. So I'm not going to do anything else and try and put anything else towards debt just yet. We'll see how everything lays out and whether or not I have any money at the end. I won't go over my cash envelope breakdown, but basically I'm going to pull any money that I had towards the savings category. So this category right here, except for extra debt, I'm going to leave that in the bank because I'm going to go ahead and do a bank transfer on Tuesday for that. So I pull this for cash, and I pull, yeah, that's it, with my 100 envelope, the sections, and those. So these are the only things that I'll be pulling for cash. So that is $350 minus $80. I should have $270 that I'm going to pull for cash to do my cash stuffing. All right, I think that is it. Thanks everybody for your time. You guys have a good one.